The story of the game is what happened between Draymond Green and Domantas Sabonis. They had been going at it all game. It had been extremely physical, just like it had been in game one. But Draymond, in my opinion, Perloff, crossed the line last night. As Sabonis goes down to the ground, and granted, Sabonis did grab at Draymond's ankle, Draymond, instead of doing anything else to get away from Sabonis, decides to use Sabonis as a human trampoline and jumps on top of his chest like my kid jumping on a trampoline.
Yeah.
And he got ejected from the game. Rightfully so.
Is this your first introduction to a guy named Draymond Green on the Warriors? How could you, Draymond? Because you've been doing this for a decade. Of course Draymond did this. And you know what? You can't have Draymond do stuff like that. And if you want Draymond to be the professional irritant, if you want him to lead you to titles, if you want him to be the bad guy, if you want him to be the tough guy on the team, you're going to get some of that. You have to live with it if you're the Warriors. That's what Draymond's act is. He's always done this.
No. But the best agitators, the best ones,
right,
at least have a sense of where the line is.
What?
And Draymond, to me, doesn't obviously have a sense, because that ended up being an important game, and it will end up being an important game. Going down 0-2, I know it's the Warriors. You think you can flip some kind of switch. Got news for you. This Kings team is for real. They're not going away.
Yeah.
So now to go down 0-2, Draymond doing this at this point in the game. This isn't a regular season game where you get your 16th technical and whatever. This is the playoffs right now. He cost his team, obviously, dearly in the finals against the Cavs in 2015. You could say he cost them a title back then. He might have cost them a first-round exit, because with about 4.5 minutes left to go in that game, they needed Draymond Green, and he was too busy fighting with Sabonis and getting ejected.
Name one single professional irritant in the NBA, championship-winning tough guy who has not crossed the line, who had any idea where the line was. You can't go up to the line and then pull back, because then you're a phony tough guy. You think Dennis Rodman knew where the line was and then didn't cross it? Get out of here. He crossed the line all the time.
Didn't cost Michael Jordan titles,
That's because he had Michael Jordan.
Well, Draymond is Steph Curry.
He cost one title. And by the way, Curry's knee was hurt that year. I'm not putting that 100% on Draymond.
They were up 3-1. You can't get suspended.
Yeah, I think if Curry was 100% healthy, it would have been fine. But we litigating 2016 here, or are we litigating last night?
I'm just saying this is a pattern, obviously, with Draymond.
Yes, of course, that's Draymond Green. He punched out Jordan Poole this year, but you have to take the good with the bad.
See, I think, though, there has to still be some accountability. Like, not all of these things are created equal, right? Like, being an agitator, it's not all the same. And, like, punching Jordan Poole was horrible. Like, nobody...
Yeah, that was terrible.
It was terrible. And we talk about that Michael Jordan punched teammates, but you can't fetishize this stuff. And the fact that he punched Jordan Poole, but you could argue, like, listen, it was terrible. It wasn't game 2 of a playoff series in which you are actually the 6th seed here and the Kings are the 3. You're not the 1 seed walking in like you're the Warriors of old. This has been a different year in this particular championship defense.
I understand. And logically, of course, you're right. But I just think, knowing Draymond Green, we've had a lot of time to watch him up close.
No doubt.
We've always known he cannot tell where the line is. If you turn it off and he just plays like any normal player, you don't have him. You know, look at every championship team. They all have tough guys, right? That's like a known thing. You need a protector.
Yeah,
they always cross the line. They always.
But to the point where it's been so costly. Like,
I mean, Rodman, I'd have to look at it. You tell me Rodman never cost the Spurs, Pistons, or Bulls a playoff game? I find that hard to believe.
No, but this might cost them the series. Like, it's possible.
First of all, they can't. They can't win on the road anyway, so I'm not sure that makes the slightest difference.
Yeah.
I think it's going to go 7 games because they're going to win all the games in Golden State. So I'm not sure that you could say this cost them the series. The other thing is this series, I mean, aren't the Kings maybe better off either way? I know the Warriors were coming back last night, but is this going to cost them the series, especially if they don't suspend them?
Let's take a listen to how it sounded. In case you were not watching the game last night, you had other things to do, whatever. This is how it sounded on radio last night, the dust-up.
Curry has the rebound. Sabonis on the floor, and he just got stomped on by Green, and a foul was called. And that may warrant an ejection. There was nothing subtle about that. He went to the floor, and Green in the tangle, it appeared to me like he just... I said stomped, and until I see a replay, I'm going to stick with that for the moment. But Sabonis is still down.
Listen, stomped was the right word. By the way, did that not sound like Rich Ackerman was doing the game, or am I crazy? It sounded like Ackerman.
Back in 20 years.
Back in 20 years doing the game.
Yeah, it had a little Steve Summers, too.
Yeah, it did. Hell of a call. Anyway, we loved it. So it was a stomp. It was egregious over the line. The idea that then Draymond, of course, goes right back to the bench where the Kings fans are yelling at him because now everything's under his skin. And he's yelling back. I mean, did not want to de-escalate the situation at all. Got all of his money's worth. Got ejected. And now the question is, could he be suspended for Game 3? Because that's another way. We're going to find out from the NBA, I would imagine, pretty soon, Perloff. But that's another situation where if he gets suspended for Game 3, I mean, at some point, don't you have to throw up your hands? I know everyone, loves part of what Draymond does, but you can't love this. You cannot love this if you're a Warriors fan.
I think you have to live with it. I just think that's the reality of it, because you will agree there's been it took me a while to get Draymond, because he doesn't score a lot of points, but he's going to be a Hall of Famer. His stats are not Hall of Fame worthy, but what he does for the team is Hall of Fame worthy. So
Defensive Player of the Year, all the
right, but I mean, once he scored 12 points a game, that's one of the lowest ever in the Hall of Fame. Maybe I'm sure he's in the bottom 10 scorers all time in Hall of Fame once he gets there. But there'd be no run without him. Probably. I mean, 4 championships.
No, I get it, but could it be 5? First of all, if he didn't get ejected when they were up 3-1
but that was 6 years ago. I mean,
and what have we learned in 6 years?
The other thing too, Robin. I was just looking. I'm sorry, Robin got suspended during the first round while with the Spurs. Then he left, I forgot, during the finals to go to Vegas.
Well, that was famous in The Last Dance.
Yeah, he got suspended so many times. He got suspended many playoff games, crossed the lines all over the place.
Okay, but that doesn't make what Draymond did last night any better.
But I just don't think you can have Dennis Rodman and Draymond Green and these guys. You know who, with the worst stomp, the most famous stomp of all time was Christian Laettner. Yeah. And I'm sorry, he happened to get away with that one, but he crossed the line. He clearly crossed the line. You need line crossers to win titles. You need dirty guys. Okay, that's how you win.
No,
and by the way, Sabonis crossed the line too.
So no accountability. And Sabonis got a technical. Okay. So no accountability. For Draymond and Green, all these years, all this stuff, thing after thing, the opponent, his own team, none of this is going to matter now. It doesn't matter. That's just Draymond, and everyone just throws their hands up.
Well, let me ask you this:
he can't be criticized. That's crazy.
Of course, you can criticize him, but you can't be surprised that he did this. If you here's a way of putting it: can you criticize him and then praise him when he causes the other player on some team to do a stupid technical or gets under the skin of the other team?
Well, he's gotten under the skin of Sabonis.
Well, yeah, or vice versa. Sabonis
definitely got under his skin.
Sabonis is the Kings' Draymond Green.
Yeah.
You need these guys, and I think it's really, really hard to walk that fine line. If you told Draymond, I don't want any of that stuff, then he's not going to be effective. Okay, he just won't be Draymond Green.
So you can't be Draymond Green unless you step on the guy's chest, or you kick LeBron James in the junk, or you punch Jordan Poole in the face. You can't be Draymond Green without that. That to me is crap. That is this is also professional sports. It's not street fighting. You understand, or you should understand, there's got to be a line.
Well, okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You know this is who Draymond Green is.
Right.
Would you want him on your team?
He fulfills a very specific role for these Warriors. If you put Draymond Green on the Detroit Pistons, you think that they are Eastern Conference Finals team.
If you're a contender, would you want him on your team?
See, I guess I have to say the answer is no, and here's why. Mm-hmm. I think that he fits this team so well. Right. If I put him on any other team, am I getting the same thing?
What if you put him on the Lakers with LeBron James? It's a perfect fit.
But filling the role defensively, I'm talking about just on the floor.
Right. I think he'd be perfect on the floor. A guy who doesn't need the ball in his hands on a really good team is very, very valuable.
Yeah. No, I understand it.
Like a contender. Basically, I'm saying a contender to be the tough guy. And I think that there's other guys like this. Dylan Brooks is a little different, but I think he gets under people's skin, and he's always flirting with the line. I think you need these tough guys to flirt with the line. I'm sorry. And I used to be like you. I used to hate Dennis Rodman so much.
I was once like you.
I thought Draymond, I was so mad at Draymond for costing the Warriors because I don't know why.
It's so stupid.
It's so stupid, but I just realized with Draymond, you can't have both. For me, it's not one or the other. You can't say get up to the line and then just pull back, because you'll just basically make him not Draymond Green.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. If you want to watch the show, you can listen to us, of course, across the country, CBS Sports Radio. It's an awesome listen. if we do say so ourselves. You can also watch the show. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio is where you can do it. The chat, the Weedos, the Purple Drinkers are up and running right now. Everyone weighing in on this. We also have a poll. You can vote. Did Draymond Green cross the line last night? Yes or no? That's right there. I thought this was funny from Danny Fowler in the chat. Adam Silver was in the stands in Sacramento last night. I thought about that because they panned to Silver, and then was it not 5 minutes later that here's Draymond stepping on Sabonis, Draymond screaming at the fans, and I was just praying they put the camera back on Adam Silver so we could see him vomit basically into his popcorn.
Yeah.
This is the last thing I want.
Feels like lately Silver won't do anything, though. He doesn't get heavily involved in this stuff anymore, does he?
He's super player friendly.
Yeah. Or super hands off. Just let it work itself out.
So that's the question. Yeah. Game 3 suspension.
I know. When do we find out? We got to get somebody on. Do you know anyone back in the league where you used to work?
Actually, I know the person who was sitting right next to Silver.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if I could make this favor right now.
Yeah, we need to find out.
Can't do that phone call.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Don't worry, Paul. I'm not calling.
I'm telling you right now, the Warriors are going to win the next game.
Okay, the next game, but I might expect that.
And honestly, the real reason I think they are is nothing else except that they're going home.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. They're going home. I mean, natural sort of.
Yeah. It does not feel like a 4-game win for the Kings because these games have been really close.
Yeah, listen, even Sabonis' wife was quoted as saying, I think it's Kings in 6. Nobody thinks this is going to be a sweep.
Right, that's not a bold call to say the Warriors are going to avenge it. They're either going to win, if somehow they lose game 3, they're definitely going to win game 4 because to me the big issue here has been the home court advantage too. And the other thing,
the Beam team, man, this is real. This was even on TV. I can't even imagine what it was like to be in the arena last night, and then especially after the Draymond Sabonis thing. But it was on 10 from the first tip. It was like
they're crazy.
It was like all the fans were left in the arena from like 2002, and they just couldn't wait to get back and boo the refs.
No, that's a huge advantage. And also, for some reason, the Warriors are not good on the road. Now the Kings are actually pretty good on the road. The other adjustment, at some point, the Warriors are going to realize De'Aaron Fox is a lefty and shift their entire defense at that point. It's hard to do that, but I do feel like this now becomes a real big game of adjustments for Steve Kerr. What do you do here? I feel, and I will guarantee. Okay, that one I feel good about. The Suns are going to blow out the Clippers.
That's tonight.
Yeah, I just feel like a lot of these conferences, you know how you go game by game.
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to seesaw a lot, and I think the Warriors Kings is going to seesaw it. I think the Warriors are going to have their moment, and then get back to Sacramento. It's going to be trouble.